Shane Van Gisbergen just destroyed Alex Bowman's comeback at Bristol, and it happened in one brutal instant. What should have been Bowman's feel-good return after missing 4 races with vertigo instead turned into one of the most frustrating crashes of the entire Food City 500, when SVG lost control and wiped out Bowman's day before it ever had a chance to settle in. Before we get into it, welcome to NASCAR Hub. Hit that like button and subscribe. We are pushing hard for 1,000 subscribers, and if you live and breathe NASCAR every single week, you are exactly where you need to be. Let's get into it. So here is exactly what happened. On lap 160 of 505 at Bristol, Van Gisbergen's number 97 Trackhouse Chevrolet spun and collected Alex Bowman, John Hunter Nemechek, and Todd Gilliland in a 4-car crash along the outside wall. Bowman's car took major damage, went behind the wall, and his return ended in a last-place finish after just 163 laps completed. SVG's own race was wrecked too, and he eventually limped home 34th. And that is exactly what we are covering today: how Bowman had fought his way back to the track and why this return mattered so much. The crash itself, what it said about Shane Van Gisbergen's still developing oval game, why this wreck felt even bigger than just 2 bad finishes, and how a race that ended with Ty Gibbs scoring his first ever Cup win still left a lot of people talking about the violent SVG Bowman moment in the middle of it. To really understand why this hit so hard, you have to start with Bowman's side of the story. He had not raced in the Cup Series since March 1st at COTA, where a vertigo episode forced him out of the car. Bowman later said that at COTA he was dizzy, throwing up, spinning, and scared enough that he thought, in his own words, this is probably it. By Bristol weekend, though, he had worked through doctors, rehab, testing, pit practice, and simulator work, got cleared without restrictions, and said he was thankful just to be back. That is what made Bristol such a big emotional checkpoint for him. This was not just another race where a guy was filling back in after a normal injury layoff. Bowman basically said he had gone from wondering whether he would ever race again to getting the green light at one of the hardest tracks on the entire schedule. He also admitted Bristol was probably the worst place possible to come back because of how physical and unforgiving it is. But he still wanted in the car the second doctor said yes. And that is exactly why the crash feels worse than the box score alone. Because if Bowman had simply run 22nd all day and said afterward he was shaking the rust off, that would have been one thing. But instead, the entire comeback was basically cut off before it ever got going. NASCAR's official report says he started 27th, was running 31st when the incident happened, and then saw the car sit behind the wall until the team determined the damage was terminal. For a driver trying to rebuild rhythm, confidence, and momentum all at once, that is a brutal way to return. Now let's get to Shane Van Gisbergen. The important truth here is that this was not some intentional shot at Bowman, and that was proved by his reaction on the radio after the crash. As reported by Jordan Bianchi, SVG said out loud, "The car just went." 3 words. That shows it was a loss of control wreck, not a grudge move. But even though it was accidental, it still absolutely destroyed Bowman's day. And it also exposed the same problem that keeps following SVG on ovals in 2026. The speed flashes are there, the adaptability is real, but the margin for error is still too small. That tension has defined a lot of SVG's year so far. NASCAR's official driver page shows he came into and left Bristol ranked 16th in points, with 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s through 8 races. He had already run 6th at Atlanta, 2nd at COTA, 11th at Phoenix, and 11th at Martinsville, which is why a lot of people had started talking about him as more than just a road course threat. But Bristol became another reminder that his learning curve on tough ovals is still very real. He started 33rd and finished 34th after the crash. And that matters because SVG's season has been moving in 2 directions at once. On one hand, Joey Logano had already publicly said in March that Van Gisbergen was off to a pretty solid start,
especially once you looked beyond the road courses and realized he was stacking respectable runs in different types of races. On the other hand, the Bristol wreck showed how fragile that progress can be. One spin, one bad moment, and suddenly the narrative shifts from "look how fast he's adapting" to "he still has a lot to clean up." That is why this crash is bigger than just one incident. It hit two storylines at the same time. For Bowman, it ruined a much-anticipated comeback before he could even settle in. For SVG, it turned what could have been another useful oval learning day into a visible setback. And because both of those stories were already emotionally charged coming in, the wreck landed harder than a random Stage 2 caution usually would.
Bowman's own post-race reaction tells you everything about how flat this felt. According to AP coverage after the race, he said he was physically fine, but called it a frustrating day. He said they had felt okay in practice, qualified poorly, struggled with the handling, and then never got the chance to work on the car and make it better because the crash was mostly outside their control. The key line there is that last part. When you're buried in traffic because the pace isn't there, bad things can happen, and that is exactly what happened to him. And I think that is the real sting for Bowman. He did not come back and get exposed because he was medically unready. He did not come back and say the vertigo was still bothering him. He came back, got thrown into traffic with a car that was not handling well enough, and then got erased by somebody else's spin. That is a very different kind of frustration, because there's no real closure in it. You are healthy enough to race, finally back in the seat, and then your day is over because the race went chaotic around you. Now, this crash may wind up hurting Bowman more emotionally than it hurt SVG competitively, and I say that because Van Gisbergen is still in the middle of a long transition story. People expect the occasional ugly oval mistake from him because he's still learning this side of NASCAR at the deepest level. Bowman, though, was supposed to be having the good to see him back weekend. He was supposed to get laps, reset the number 48 team, and start climbing out of a terrible early season hole. Instead, he came back, got wrecked out, and stayed mired near the bottom. That does not mean SVG gets off easy, far from it. The same official stats page that shows his strong early results also shows just how uneven the ride has been. 30th in the Daytona 500, 36th at Las Vegas, and now 34th at Bristol. So even though his top-end pace is obvious, Bristol feeds the argument that he is not yet where he needs to be week to week on every kind of oval. He has the talent, but the consistency is still being built. And the timing makes it even harsher. This was a Bristol race that ended with Ty Gibbs getting his first ever Cup Series win by .055 seconds over Ryan Blaney, the closest Bristol finish since April 1991. That should have been the overwhelming headline, and in many ways it was. But the reason the SVG Bowman crash still stuck in people's heads is because it felt like two major subplots colliding, literally. Bowman's comeback and SVG's oval growth both got thrown off course in the same wreck. There is also a bigger Hendrick Motorsports angle here. While Kyle Larson was up front all afternoon and William Byron fought through his own problems, Bowman's number 48 team needed something, anything, to make Bristol feel like the start of a recovery. Instead, AP's race coverage noted that Bowman returned from 4 missed races only to finish last after being caught in the wreck. When a season already feels rough, and the comeback race ends like that, it adds another layer of pressure heading into Kansas. For SVG, the path is different. His season is not collapsing. He is still right around the provisional cut line, still showing real upside, still doing the hard part of this whole move, which is adapting to NASCAR's most demanding tracks in public. But Bristol did show that learning on the job in Cup can still bite hard. 1 second, you're grinding through another oval lesson, and the next, you have wiped out yourself, Bowman, Nemechek, and Gilliland in one shot. I wouldn't frame this as Shane Van Gisbergen destroying Alex Bowman in some personal or malicious sense. He destroyed Bowman's race, absolutely. He destroyed Bowman's comeback afternoon, yes, but he did it by losing the car, not by trying to settle anything. And being honest about that actually makes the story stronger,
Because the real drama here is not villain versus victim. It's how brutal NASCAR can be when one driver is trying to learn and another is simply trying to get his life back to normal on track. And honestly, that's why this one will linger a bit. Bowman's quote was not angry, just deflated. SVG's season did not implode, but the oval questions got louder again. Hendrick did not get the comeback boost it wanted. Trackhouse did not get the clean progression day it needed. Everybody left with damage, and only Ty Gibbs got to turn Bristol into a fairy tale ending. Everyone else in that crash got a reminder of how quickly momentum can disappear. This was a devastatingly simple NASCAR story. Alex Bowman fought like crazy just to get back in the car. Shane Van Gisbergen lost the car at exactly the wrong moment, and in one violent sequence, both of their afternoons were basically gone. That's what made this feel so big. Not just the damage, the timing, the context, and the fact that neither driver really needed this setback right now. Now, I want to hear from you. Was this just an unfortunate SVG mistake at a brutal track? Or does this raise real questions about where he is on ovals right now? And what do you think Alex Bowman needs heading into Kansas? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe to NASCAR Hub. We're just getting started and we want you along for every single lap. Thanks for watching. See you at Kansas.